Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Changers, the future of play, where we explore AI, gaming, and the business of play. I'm Tony Callahan, joined by my podcast team, Sarah Ramos and Stephanie
Hi.
Ventura. Today, we're really excited to welcome Yuan Zeng. He's a business development and partnerships leader with deep experience building global go-to-market strategies in the gaming industry. His background spans international business development, partnerships, market expansion, giving him a strong perspective on how games scale globally and how studios can connect with diverse audiences. Today, we'll explore his insights on partnerships, growth, and what it takes to build successful gaming ecosystems across markets. Juan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And before we dive into some of those bigger trends, I would love to start a little bit more with your journey and how you got into gaming and more specifically partnerships. So, what first got you into the gaming industry?
Um, I believe well, first of all, I would say it's a coincidence. That I mean, I always loved games growing up as a kid. I believe there's something called the laws of attraction, if that's the
Mm,
right term, that you like something that so much that when the opportunity presents itself, you try to seize it. And yeah, that's somehow I got into what gaming adjacent business, which is advertising for games at the beginning. But once you start building your portfolios, your experiences, your network in the business, then it just started from there.
I love that. We've been hearing when we ask that question, a lot of times it is coincidence or just very random situations where people fall into the gaming industry and then 20 years later they're still in it. So it seems like it has some kind of magical forces going on. And then more recently, what led you more onto, the partnership side and your current role?
hmm So I would say partnership, business development, it's they go hand in hand in a lot of the times. I would say business development is more on the scouting side, or I that's also actually part of my job as well. But on the other hand, because this industry has gone through a lot, especially the last couple of years, when mobile get into the space and there was a expansion that growth in the business. And but right now we see a lot of a consolidation, which means that there are certain partners that they just hold so much power or uh, importance of our business. So we kind of have to foster a long-term relationship with this partners, this key accounts, that basically help us each of us out, and yeah, to weather the storm basically.
I like that. Banding together.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'd love to zoom out a little bit and get your perspective on kind of what's going on in the gaming space now. And I'd love to hear from you. What's kind of a key trend that you feel is impacting your area specifically right now?
Well, definitely AI is well, I hate to say it's a buzzword, but I mean it's a little bit of both at the same time. That from the corporate level, that the leadership, the management, or the people around you, especially the ones in the actual production level, they are all talking about it. And there's also a fear of missing out going on at the same time, that because everyone is talking about it, that you also want to take a look at it, and see if it really helps. That we can already see that in some aspect of the industry, for example, like in the art department, in the programming department, it has played a significant role in a little bit different ways. But in some areas that is still for short, that hasn't lived up to to the expectation yet. But with the all this investment in this technology, and the everybody's working on it, that we can definitely see a sort of a exponential what's the word for it, the kind of like explosion in the next couple of years. um yeah, but then again, on the market side, that you see a lot of a player that is in the last couple of days, I see there are players not too happy with some of the games are using AI, and that forcing some developer has to come out and actually say, "Oh, we are not going to use it in any of our games." That yeah, it's an interesting development. But whether you like it or not, I think this technology is not going away. So yeah, I would say this is what everybody is talking about in the business.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. It's coming and we're only seeing kind of the beginning stages really of what it's going to end up being in the next few years. And what you said about kind of that transparency, I think it was Steam now is requiring some
Yep.
developers to say in a little disclaimer, we used AI for this. So it's kind of neat to see how the transparency aspect is developing as well. Very
Yeah.
cool. Um, and in your current position, how do you approach challenges? And they could even be in this in terms of AI or in general.
Um, uh, in general, I would say, I mean, first of all, you don't go into if you know there's a challenge coming, you don't go in there unprepared, right? I still remember my professor back in the college days that tells us that if you don't prepare for exam, you're prepared to fail, right? But I mean, not 100% of the plan goes as planned. But then again, if you don't plan it, then yeah, it's 100% that you're going to be doomed, right? So
Hmm.
we prepare for it. And then we also expect to make mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes.
I like that. It's good to plan on there being some errors. I remember that something that was always repeated to me when I was in school is that prior proper planning prevents poor production, so you don't
Hmm.
forget it.
Yeah,
I like that approach. And
It's
that
a
kind of
mouthful.
I'm a more of the guy
it is.
tackling those challenges head on.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes yeah, yeah, it did fail, and then yeah, got the scar from it. But still, I mean, you dust it off, and you keep going.
Yeah, it's all a learning experience. Well, kind of in that same vein, last question from me before we do some rapid fire. Can you share one actionable lesson for, studios or executives from your what you've learned in your experience?
Yeah, a couple of things actually. The first one I would say, especially these days, is don't follow the trend too much. I mean, I understand it feels like a safe bet, right? Because well, everyone else is doing it. And there may be a chance that you could be better than everyone else, but I would say it's still because everyone it's trying to look for that safe bet these days, and the following the trend actually may not end it up the way you think. Everyone is making a battle royale or extraction shooter these days or hero shooter that it could backfire. But then, yeah, do something focusing on gameplay, focusing on the player, know your positioning, and just try to make the best game. That's one thing. And also sometimes when the team fails, be patient and give them another chance because the team will also learn from their mistakes and to do better.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. Before we jump into the rapid fire, I noticed that, of course, you're in partnerships and I'm in partnerships too. So it's kind of interested in getting your take on this one. From your experience building partnerships, what separates collaborations that truly create long-term value from those that look great on paper but maybe don't scale long term?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that if you're thinking long term, instead of us thinking the next quarter's KPI, then you are of course planning to build up your trust, not focusing on those flashy deals, but that only last for a while, right? So um, I can give you like a example is that when I was working on some IP collaborations, um, sometimes the licensee or the IP holder, they will try to um, set up a hurdle at the beginning to have a really high license fee or a MG upfront. But then again, that's may not be the best idea because if our initial cost is too high for a game to success, it may be a little bit risky. But then again, if we could lower the initial entry barrier, but then and also the royalty to set the royalty at the right level, that to ensure the game will last longer, then yeah, I think everybody wins because I think even these days the IP holders start to understand that they don't want to make quick money anymore. They want to see their IP flourish. They want to see a long-term revenue stream from this the merchandising or the licensed games to flourish. Then yeah, they start to understand it. So to have this to build this kind of a relationship is to really look at the long run and building a business case on top of this. Yeah, but this has to be this has to go both ways, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that because it's like kind of solidifying the relationship and becoming comfortable and trust each other first, and then think about the long-term value, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind
love
of
that.
I'm kind of curious, are there like any red or green flags like that you can't ignore when you're looking for these partnerships that you're like, okay, can't do that, or this looks like the right path?
Um, yeah, I would still say when using that IP example, right? The
Mhm.
royalty is definitely one of the key aspect. So if they don't, they insist on a very high royalty fee, um, that may not be the best for both parties. Because the reason why I raised this is that at the beginning, there are certain industries that are not traditional gaming companies, or for example, they were more familiar, like with their own industry, or they were comfortable like merchandising, licensing them out. They have a certain standard. But when it comes to games, we actually have a very low margin when it comes to the profit margin when it comes to those type of games. So you have the Apple and Google, those kind of platform fees, right? You have taxes, you have maintenance, server costs, and development costs, and also one of the most important is marketing spending, right? So all those things add up. If we still have to have like a double-digit royalty fee on those products, those IP royalties, that will really diminish the profit margin for the developer. So there's no incentive
Right.
to go forward with it. I remember a couple of cases that it was like that. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, like you said, it sounds like it kind of benefits both if you can lower that royalty fee. So in the end, there's a higher profit margin. That's good. Good to
yeah.
know.
So basically, to answer your question, right? So to I mean, those are some of the obvious red flags for both parties. Um, and yeah, if we want to build like a sustainable business, then we have to come up to the middle ground that basically everyone has to understand each other's business, and then we can foster a much sustainable business deals.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. All right, let's jump right into the rapid fire questions. So I have five. They're designed to be quick answer and quick question, quick answer. But
Mhm.
we always find ourselves kind of adding details and things like that. So don't feel bad if you go a little bit further into the details. So first question, favorite video game or gaming memory?
The most recently, I would say Baldur's Gate 3. Uh, but before that, I'm an RPG fan, so Fallout 1 and 2, the older Baldur's Gate, Skyrim, those are my favorite. I enjoy those world that they present us, that you really live the experiences of a totally different world and a different story. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Second question, one tool or technology that you can't live without. So it could be instead of gaming outside in your regular life. What do you think?
I'm a more traditional guy, so for me, it's email and LinkedIn. I guess those are the two things I rely on most.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I would agree with you on LinkedIn. That's a good one. Can't live without that.
Yeah.
Okay, number three, biggest trend in gaming or AI that excites you?
That excites me. I think the most recently is the Genie 3, right? I just experienced it yesterday. It's definitely amazing that it created this virtual world based on what you say, and then you can interact with it. So it's and I can't wait to see how this played out, and if we can really generate a 3D world that we can export it and embed it in builds, then yeah, that would be something truly amazing.
Very cool. All right, next question. What's one skill studio leaders will need much more of in the next 3 to 5 years?
Come again?
One skill that studio
Mhm.
leaders will need much more of in the next 3 to 5 years. So an important skill for studio
Mhm.
leaders.
Well, I would say in our line of business is to maintain the the human side of creativity. Because to have a good idea, it's always a good idea in our business. Um, Technology such as AI has already lowered the entry barrier for a lot of things, but having a creative mind to build a story, to build a world that or a gameplay that people want to experience, that's a hard skill that, yeah, I guess for every game developers that we have to master.
Yeah, I love that. And kind of maintaining that skill as AI becomes more predominant, right?
Yeah,
Being able to keep your mind sharp. So I'm
yeah,
hearing a lot about folks using AI so much, which is a good thing. I love AI, but what is it doing to our brains, right? How are our brains changing
yeah,
because of that?
yeah.
Okay, last question from me. If you weren't in gaming, what would you be doing?
I for me, I was yeah, probably selling dim sum with my wife on the 99 Ranches parking lot. Because I believe I'm a creative person, but then I'm not that technical, so I can't build games on my own. But making good food, I would say it's also an expression of your creativity at some
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, you said dim sum. That spiked my ears right away. Yeah, very good. Love that.
I love that.
Yeah, I
Go ahead,
mean,
Steph.
no, I was gonna say, who knows, in the next 5 years, maybe you could build your own AI or game using AI. Things are
point.
really,
Yeah, we'll
really
see about
changing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Yuan, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. We're so happy to have you on, and I think your perspective on, partnerships and how these gaming ecosystems are evolving, is valuable for anyone who's in the space or anyone who may be listening. So thank you for taking the time to join us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of
Great
course.
to be here.
And yeah, for anyone who's listening, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to follow Game Changers, the future of play on Spotify, or visit us at sicuraqs.ai. The details will be in the caption as well. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.